All right. You guys want to talk some Twins, or do you want to stick your hand in a blender? You guys want to talk some Twins Yankees, or do you want to stick your head in a porta potty toilet?
I feel like I spent Wednesday doing exactly that. So what the hell? Let's talk about it again.
What a series this has been so far. Here's the latest. The Yankees now hold a 98-37 overall record against the Twins since 2002. They have won 22 of the past 24 meetings at Yankee Stadium. The Twins are now 1-17 at Yankee Stadium since 2017. I don't know what else there is to say about this soft-ass, pathetic franchise when it comes to their face-offs with the Yankees. But here we are again.
But here's the best part. The best part is this. The New York Yankees yesterday, and especially in Game 1, which to me is the poster child of the entire 2022 Twins campaign, the New York Yankees threw out a lineup that was more pathetic than the Twins. So you can't say.
What do you mean? I've heard the Twins have been crippled by injuries. Blame everything
Yankees,
on injuries.
It was a triple A game played, a fraudulent major league product. Aside from the outstanding debut of one Louis Varland, it was a fraudulent product perpetrated on the people of New York, for which they should have sued for the 12 folks who did show up. But you can't use the Twins, look at all the injuries, because that lineup, as Royce said on Rapping with Patrick with us earlier today, as Patrick was saying, that Yankees lineup was largely unrecognizable.
Yeah, they have Aaron Judge. And he hits a home run every game, especially against the Twins.
Even John Heyman was defending the Twins this morning. Did you guys see that? Even like John Heyman was like, they got some New York Blues, but they do have 16 players on the injured list. It's
That's just the Twins are telling them that, but I'm so sick of it because the Yankees lineup was pathetic, and they still won in a game in which the Twins got a great effort from Varland, which should have been the story of the day.
Dude, I'm this injury thing. I knew this was going to come up. And so before the series, I started thinking about this. I know that people are going to blame injuries for what's about to happen here in New York, and it's funny because if you look at we'll look at the lineup the Twins are putting out there. What are they supposed to do? I mean, it's got Jay Cave and Celestino and all these guys. Okay, on the active roster right now. And I get that they're missing Byron, Buxton, and Jorge Polanco for now, although those guys have played, respectively, 70 and 80% of the games so far this year.
Yep.
So it's not like Buxton's played a higher percentage of games this year, and he's having a really good offensive season. Of course he was going to miss some games. He's going to come back. He's going to play the 100 games that everyone expected, and he's going to give you exactly what you thought what you hoped you could get at the beginning of the year. So don't give me Buxton, all right? Polanco's played 80% of the games. So, if he has to miss a couple weeks because he's, resting whatever ails him, whatever, that's baseball. Guys miss 2 weeks. They miss 3 weeks, right? So on the active roster right now, this is just the position players, okay? These are guys that are available for your lineup. Now, if you choose to not use these guys in your lineup, that's your choice. Mm-hmm. You've got Luis Ariz, who's having a career season. He's cooled off a little bit lately, but he is right there for the American League batting title. He's an on-base machine. He's having the best season of his career. Carlos Correa is the highest paid infielder in all of Major League Baseball, smack dab in the middle of your lineup. Max Kepler, he's in the middle of his prime right now. He was one of your top young players not that long ago, and he is signed to a long-term contract, okay? Jose Miranda was one of your top prospects. He's one of the best rookie hitters in baseball this season, actually. Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez, two players the Twins specifically traded for to start on a regular basis at third base and or catcher and or DH, right? Mm-hmm. Nick Gordon is a former 5th overall pick, and he's actually kind of having a breakout season. Like, he has a well above average OPS. He's a former 5th overall pick in the first round. And then Kyle Garlick has the 4th highest OPS on the team. Okay, I just gave you 8 players right there. The Twins planned on these 8 players playing a huge role this season. So yeah, there's a couple guys who are hurt, but people keep saying like, "Well, look at this lineup." What do you mean? It's basically the lineup minus a couple guys that they planned on this season. Well, Miguel Sano, he's been terrible for 3 years. Don't give me Miguel Sano. So I'm so sick of what are they supposed to do? I mean, what do you mean? What are they supposed to do? This is most of the guys that they planned on being in this lineup, for God's sakes.
Their third base coach is not supposed to wave Gilbert Celestino home on a single to shallow right field when the right fielder is playing in and shock the entire world by getting him thrown out by 30 feet. Carlos Correa is supposed to once in a while get a hit with a runner in scoring position and decent pressure on him, not hit solo shots in the second or third inning of games. I can go on and on. This is one of the most frustrating, at times stupid, on the base pass, it's inexcusable baseball teams that I have ever seen. But if you go through who the Yankees don't have right now, it is a veritable who's who of players that are superior, aside from Buxton, to what the Twins are missing. And they won not one but 2 games. And here's the other thing, and here's why I don't want this team anywhere near the playoffs. Game 1.
Well, they're very close still.
Because Cleveland, get your act together, and Chicago's just a complete mess too. Chicago's a complete joke. Like, they're good, they've got talent, but they're a complete joke as far as how they're being run right now. But anyway, the thing that just so stood out to me was Game 1. And Game 1, you sold out to win. Again, against a AAA, you basically played Scranton Wilkes-Barre. So, literally, the Yankees said, aside from Judge, we are going to have you face Scranton Wilkes-Barre. And you sold out. You threw Duran for 2. He can't pitch today again, I guarantee it. If he does, it'll be an act of God. You ran yourself out of that game. You had numerous chances, and you still couldn't win the damn game. Get out of the playoffs. End the season now. I don't care. You don't deserve to be anywhere near where you're at because your division sucks.
Dude, I think they're probably going to make the playoffs still. What? They're going to go win like
Disgusting.
6 out of 8 against the Guardians.
I hope not.
And they've got some more games against weaker teams the rest of the month. What would the conversation largely be about this team if they played in a different division? So they would be 14 games back in the American League East. I think they would be 19 games back of the Astros in the American League West. Okay. They would be 17 games back of the Mets in the National League East. And then they'd be like 12 games back of the Cardinals. And, oh, my God, the Dodgers.
Oh,
They'd be 25 games back or somewhere in that ballpark against the Dodgers. So I believe, if my math is right here, in the other 5 divisions, they would be between 12 and 25 games back of every other first-place club. But because they're playing in this division here, which is a race to, I think, like 84 wins maybe to win this division, they're getting a little bit more of the, well, they're in a division race. Let's everyone needs to show up to target the Lavelle thing that we ranted about. I think it was a few days ago, right? Like, fans need to show up and support this team. And no, I'll say it again. The Twins owe so much more to the fans than the fans owe to the Twins at this point. 3 more losses to the Yankees. You can't then come back and say, I mean, you got to pack Target Field and support this team. No, there's a lot of places to spend your sports money. If you can't show up and give me a couple wins against the Yankees, a couple, not even 4, not even 3. Let's just split a series against a team that's been reeling and injured, right?
It's not the Yankees, too. That's what kills me about this. You're losing to a AAA team. Aside from Judge, you're losing to a AAA team.
Here's another one, too, all right? This is from our guy Joe Nelson at Bring Me the News this morning. So the Twins have played 8 teams this season that, if the regular season ended today, would be in the playoffs. So they've played games against the Yankees, Blue Jays, Rays, Astros, Mariners, Guardians, Dodgers, and Padres. Mm-hmm. The Twins are 19-31 against those 8 playoff teams. Mm. When you extrapolate that to a 162-game season, they would be 61-101. They are the equivalent of a 101-loss team when facing teams that are currently bound for the postseason. That's the reality that we are currently living in.
in the argument of you should be packing Target Field, like, okay, so I went out and splurged and got season tickets, most because Carlos Correa signed here. I wasn't like super interested in this 2022 Twins before that. Like, I was maybe a little bit more bullish. Yeah, they had some, if you want to have the argument of bad luck even in 2021, some injuries, some ineffectiveness, Josh Donaldson being maybe a cantankerous individual. Okay, but I certainly didn't have high expectations. You sign Carlos Correa, I go all in, I get a 20-game package, and it's great. There's no reason for me, and by the way, I haven't renewed yet. I haven't planned to renew yet. I'm not going to renew these season tickets. I'm the clientele that you want to be packing your stadium. I am the rare 20-something. I turned 30 in a few months, but I'm the rare 20-something that actually splurged my own capital and my own money to watch baseball because I'm the person you want to keep there. And the way you're playing down the stretch, the way you absolutely sabotage yourselves in games, the way you think about starting pitching, the way the excuses that are made that people cover the team, I have no interest in returning to that ballpark and spending X amount of money for 20 games again. I don't have any interest. You can maybe make up for it here in a couple weeks, but I have no interest in doing that.
How, though? They're a stupid team. They're a stupid team. That's
No, there's still a chance here.
No, I know, but why would you But like, if you have rightfully so said, you know what, I'm out. Like, what are they going to do? Get hot against Cleveland? Oh, goody! Like, there's nothing that they could do to me. But I don't care. I don't care. You're stupid. You run poorly. You're everything they've done. Look, a lot of the things that we applauded when these guys came in, they are now not doing. They clearly have pivoted to, well, we've got this, the blueprint figured out. There is nothing I could do. I despise this team now. They're not well run. They run the bases like morons. Their cookie cutter decisions on pitching are maddening. They have completely bought into, we are going to ignore everything that the human being does because our robotic metrics tell us this and tell us that. And metrics are meant to be used. You know what they are? They are academics. Academics can be incredibly smart folks. Like, I have no doubt, Thad Levy, Derek Falvey are very smart guys, all right? Zero question about that. But you know what the problem is? They lack common sense. They lack common sense, and academics think that they're so smart that they can get by without having any people skills. I'm a people person, damn it. Understand what you don't understand. And they don't. There is nothing this team could do right now to get me to say, oh, I see it now. You're idiots as far as the game goes far too often.
I think we know where you stand regardless of what happens this season. But what I'm saying is, despite all of everything you said, I largely agree with. That there's something off about this organization that's not just injuries. Something doesn't smell right. But because of the division they play in, there is still a fairly realistic chance that they could win this division, go win, like, just get a little bit hot against one team, and and finish with like 84 wins or something. And then once you get in, because it's baseball, and because they do have some pitchers that could give you, Sonny Gray could give you 6 strong against the Blue Jays. You could win 2 out of 3 and advance. That's the crazy thing about this team, is that no one wants to actually put the bullet in this team because no one in the division can do it. So they just sit here it's like we watch RoboCop. I mean, it's like they've had 50 rounds pumped into them, and they're still just like, Yeah.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Yeah.
I do wonder, though, I'll go back to this. I wonder if they were sitting here in a real division and they were in 4th place right now for they finished last place last year, but let's say they were in 4th place right now and they were 15 or 20 games out of 1st. Mm-hmm. And we're now looking at 2 just back-to-back, not even close to making the playoffs type years. What would the conversation be surrounding this team? And should it really be that different because they're playing in this division? I think that it's like this weird mirage that, like, but they might still win the division.
That's my exact point. My exact point is, look at what's transpiring and look at what they're doing. And I guess just as importantly, what they're not doing at this point. And that to me is the most important thing. The conversation that you're asking about, Phil, in my opinion, should happen regardless. Because this is the ultimate, somebody's going to, unfortunately, make the playoffs from this division. It's going to be a back end. We all get that. But This is, I think the best way I could sum this up to the younger crowd of potential baseball fans is this. This is the time where you have to stop and say, don't trust the process. So, trust the process, right? Like, we know what we're doing. I don't trust the process. I look at the process that I see used night after night after night. And I mean, game one, again, against the Yankees on Wednesday is the perfect game. And I look at the process and say, no, it's just flat out flawed. Now, can it be improved? Absolutely. But we are clearly, and I don't know how we got here, but we're clearly here. We are to a point where there is not enough different voices and thinkers to how the game should operate. So it's become this very one-sided, this is how we do things. And it's like nobody can come in and say, whoa, 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 whoa. You know what? Some of that's fine. Some of that is fine. So I'm not saying everything has to go. But I am saying that there are moves that are made night after night after night. So mistakes that are repeated that are not being fixed ever. So clearly there is something along the way where I don't know if 3 years ago somebody fell on the train tracks and said, stop this. Let's think about it differently. But now it's like everybody's on the same page, but the page is incorrect.
What do you mean 3 years ago? Like you're talking about the Bomba Squad season?
Yeah, 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And Phil, we were both told when Falvey and Levine started, so like right after they got the job by multiple sources, that one of the nice things at that time was the fact that they welcomed and encouraged different people to speak up and say, hey,
collaboration was the
yeah,
word.
the Vikings thing, right? It feels like that's gone. It feels like that's gone, or they weeded out everyone who didn't agree with what the collaboration was as a consensus from their people.
You know, we talked last week, I think it was on one of the Rap with Royce episodes, about the Joe Madden quotes. So there is an article, The Athletic sums it up, but it's actually a Joe Madden appearance on our old friend of the show, Jason Stark's podcast, Starkville. Now, Joe Madden, for a long time, for probably like the better part of a decade and a half, was regarded as the best manager in baseball, or one of the 2 or 3 best managers in baseball, for his ability to blend the statistical analysis and the data side that the Rays front office brought. He was a filter, and then he took information, disseminated it with his coaching staff in a way that was also sort of guided by the human touch. Yep. And the Rays constantly overachieved. They went to a World Series in 2008, and Joe Madden was excellent. And then Joe Madden goes to the Cubs, right? Theo Epstein hires him. And again, Theo Epstein is a very analytically driven, but Theo has a great mind for blending analytics with the artistic side of baseball. And Joe Madden fit perfectly. And then I don't know what happened with the Angels. The Angels have just been kind of a train wreck for a long time. But Joe Madden didn't just get old and out of touch and like Joe. I still trust Joe Madden. Mm-hmm. And among the things that he was saying on this podcast were the game has been overtaken by people that don't care about the art. They just want to develop the next statistical trend or the next thing. We're going to pull our starters before the 3rd time through the order, right? That's like, and we're going to be lauded as geniuses for flipping the script on what a baseball pitching staff looks like in a game. And as I'm reading these quotes, I haven't actually listened to the podcast, but I read through the whole transcript. It's like he's talking specifically about the Minnesota Twins. Every step of the way, I'm like, God, yeah, wow, yeah. People coming down and just random people with ideas from the front office and trying to get their ideas heard in the clubhouse. And I don't know how the Twins disseminate that information to players. I don't know if they have 6 different people coming in or if it all runs through Rocco. I don't know what their process is behind the scenes. But the Twins feel very bogged down by analytics and a system and processes that the front office believes in, with very little room for the fact that they're a crappy base running team is not shocking to me. If you were building a baseball roster and building your baseball strategy off of analytics and numbers, and we pull pitchers after this many pitches and we construct lineups this way, guess what probably doesn't get focused on? The art of running the bases, the feel of running the bases, right? That's what Paul Molitor was literally like in the organization for years and years just to teach guys how to run bases and steal signs and things like that.
Yep.
So it's sometimes it's hard to put your finger on it because it's very easy to say, well, I mean, they got a bunch of guys injured. I mean, what are they supposed to do? You know, they're running Jake Cave out there. But there's so many other things here that if you pull back the curtain, don't smell right about this organization. And now it's just manifesting in Yankees form here because, you know, it doesn't matter what incarnation of the Twins exists. They always get smoked by the Yankees. But this is it's just another strategy of we're going to try it this way with analytics. And we're going to try it the way that we've envisioned for the last 5 years. And you're getting the same exact result.
And the fact that your division is terrible should not provide cologne for the stink. Like, this is the second consecutive year that you are going backward. And I don't know, Jim Polad, I have no clue if he gets that. I really don't know.
He's a zombie, dude.
I know, but somebody who has some control of this franchise has to peel away the attempted feel good of, but look where we are in the division and say, what's happening here? Why exactly is this going backward? Why aren't we developing pitchers? Like, there's so many. If we were to sit down and list flaws, in-game flaws, developmental flaws, it's a long list right now. It's a long list. And
Jim Polad's a piece of cardboard who doesn't care about any
somebody's got to, but I mean, I would hope, and I might be totally wrong, somebody has to look at that. You have now traded for 3 pitchers who are hurt. Them being hurt's on you. Like that was a huge, you made those trades. And if you say, well, I didn't know, then it's worse. And quite frankly, I'm to the point too where you've got enough guys that are getting hurt consistently where I would have somebody who knows a lot about this take a long, hard look at the medical staff as well. Like this is the stuff that good teams do. This is the things they audit. This is what they look at. Like, I don't think you just say, well, we got a ton of guys hurt. Bad luck. See you in spring training. No. I think you say, okay, what could have been avoided here? What's the problem here? There is just a very long list of things that I think should be a big concern. And that's why I said I do not trust their process now.
You know, one other quick thing we can get to old tweets exposed here. So yesterday, my wife and I went to the White Sox-Mariners game, living out here in the Pacific Northwest. We just got some last-minute tickets. It was nice out, and we roamed around the ballpark. And I got to scout the White Sox as they caught the Twins yesterday in the standings.
So did I.
And Luis Castillo was the starting pitcher for the Mariners, and it was actually his worst start. He's made 7 starts for the Mariners. He has a 2.5 ERA with a bunch of strikeouts. In fact, he had 10 strikeouts in 6 innings against Cleveland like a week and a half ago. He's been great for the Mariners. Yesterday, things went off the rails a little bit. There were some unearned runs, but he's largely just been exactly what they traded for. And it's just hilarious to me that the Mariners, and it's not a big market, okay? Seattle and Minneapolis are pretty much the same market. The Mariners said, you know what? We haven't made the playoffs in 20 years. We got young players that are on the rise. We're not great. We're not the Astros. We're not the Yankees. But damn it, we're just sick of this. Mm-hmm. Let's trade for the best starting pitcher on the market, Luis Castillo, and let's put him right at the top of our rotation. And they did it. They paid the price to do it. And then the Twins barrel in. They're like, where's the used car section? Where's the used DVD? Is there a buy as is section? Yeah, let's go get Tyler Mahle, who was just on the injured list with a bum shoulder, and hope to God that he can make it the last 2 months of the season. Oh, he can't? Oh, dang, we're shocked. And now look at us. What are we supposed to do? We have injuries. It's like, why didn't you trade for Luis Castillo? He's exactly what you would have wanted, of just a horse at the top of the order that can carry you through, not soil himself against the Yankees, you know. But the Mariners made the move that the Twins weren't willing to. And I liked at the time, before I did a Google search before I literally typed in Tyler Mahle's shoulder.
It's like Chris Paddock.
Yeah. Chris Paddock, UCL. Oh, interesting.
Hey, here I am, guys. Here I am.
Dude, and I mean, and it's on, the joke's on me too. It's like, maybe I should, now from now on, any player the Twins acquire, I need to Google the name and then injury and just see what pops up. Because now those tweets still live. Me lauding the Chris Paddock trade and the Tyler Mahle trade because I lauded them before I did a Google search for if they, I don't know, need Tommy John surgery. You guys want to go old tweets exposed here or what?
Yeah.
Okay. Every week, Declan goes back in the Twitter archives and finds incriminating things that we've tweeted in the past. Oh, here we go.
Right before the deadline. Mahle for Spencer Steer would seem to make some sense. Mahle would be a huge rotational upgrade. He's 18th in WAR among starting pitchers over the last 2 years. And yes, maybe a Google search of his medicals. I think our new philosophy on this is it a blue check mark? Okay, so it is real news, and then a Google search. Those are like our two things, and then we can craft a tweet. Those should be our new parameters.
Did I nail they traded Spencer Steer, right?
You did nail that part.
Wow.
That part was pretty impressive. I will give you that.
Oh, I thought it was out there that it was going to be Steer, probably. No?
Was it? Oh, maybe. Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was looking at their. I
No,
think
and
what
it's
I was
August
doing.
2nd.
I was looking at their top 10 prospects.
Yeah.
And I was trying to
It's
deduce.
August 2nd, too. I think the trade was done by then. I think you're just saying that trade would seem to be a good trade.
Well, the trade happened on the 3rd. Give me a little more credit than that.
Oh, was it the 3rd? Okay. I was thinking it was the 1st. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
You get credit. You get
Acknowledge
credit.
me.
And you get credit. And you get credit.
Acknowledge
me. I want the ball.
Such
All
a
right.
feel-good season.
Judd Zolgad, speaking of, I let the starters go. I like the bullpen management. August 6, 2022. Now, this is bullpenning by the Twins tonight. McGill, 1 inning. Fulmer, 2/3. Caleb Thielbar, 1 1/3. Jax was up for the Twins during the last half inning. You're now you were applauding the bullpen usage of guys like Trevor McGill, Michael Fulmer, Caleb Thielbar.
I think there's some sarcasm font here.
I don't
Is there some
think
sarcasm
there is.
font
I
here?
don't remember. Well, it's the 6th. I don't remember, but I think that actually worked that night. I want to say it worked that night. So I think that I think my
You're
point
moving the goalposts.
was that they had brought guys in.
Okay, so now, so when it works, you're playing the results here.
Yeah.
So when it works, it's a great strategy. But when they use 4 relievers, after a starter gets,
It's also
gets
fallen
pulled
apart a little
early.
bit more. Fulmer, I think in his first couple appearances was solid, and it's sort of fallen apart a little.
Was it one of you guys, or was it? It might have been on a text thread with our old friend Jake Depew. Apparently, Dan Gladden on the radio broadcast
It was
yesterday.
me.
Was it you?
was great.
So you heard him ask Thad Levine about
Yes.
why they don't teach their starters to work a third time through the order. It's a very valid question.
It was great because Thad, I think he did the top half of an inning in the Bally Sports North booth. Now, I got so frustrated that I actually watched the first game on TV and couldn't watch the second game. So I tuned in to the radio. So Thad got done in the top half and then spent the bottom half, which was the half inning Joe Ryan melted down with Dan and Corey, and they grilled Thad. It was glorious. And Thad couldn't leave because Joe Ryan gave up hit after hit after hit until IKF hit a grand slam. And so Danny, by the end, was basically trying to lecture Thad with questions.
Yeah, it's
It was
valid
fun.
because it's sort of is it the chicken or the egg here, right? It's the Twins the third time through the order are not good as a pitching staff, so it makes sense to not subject those pitchers to the third time through the order if they're not good at it. They are the third worst team OPS against third time through the order. But then the follow-up question is, why?
Right.
Why are you so bad the third time through the order? It can't just be, well, this is classic Twins, and I feel like some of the coverage, it's like, well, what are they supposed to do? What are they supposed to do? They're bad. Why? Why are they bad third time through the order? Why are they? Chris Archer is never allowed to pitch more than 4 2/3. And maybe he's not capable of that. In which case, why did you sign him? Why do you have at least 2 or 3 guys in your rotation that physically can't pitch a third time through the order? Are you not teaching them to do it? Are you not aware that they can't do it?
And why was Sonny Gray, to your point from a couple days back, why was he previously good, but now he's struggling?
Yeah.
So Danny and Corey were, the gloves were off, and God bless them for that, because I got a feeling in the BSN booth, the gloves were not off with Dick.
No,
right, so
Perk does a great job, though. Perk is doing a good job.
Perk's not
I'll
asked
just leave
enough
it at that.
questions. I'll stop right there. Perk should be asked more questions, less defining statements towards Glenn.
All right, so I'm going to use a Judd tweet, but it's about me. Right after the deadline, as a wise person said to me tonight, the Twins' handling of their starters and bullpen is why I'm, quote, not convinced Dex tweets is right and the deadline deals bought them a playoff win. Now, I guess this could technically still come true, right? I mean, they could still make the playoffs, and maybe the bullpen usage buys them a win. But, yeah, I mean, that was my initial statement the minute after the deadline, that you bought yourselves a playoff win, and, well, yeah.
They might still
not
have
make the playoffs.
They might still have. We'll see.
Do you guys want them? Do you want them? Like I'm so disgusted right now. I do not want them in the playoffs. I do not. I don't care who backs in. I just don't
I
want
understand
it to be
what
them.
you're saying. So I think where I'm ultimately, yes, I want the Twins to be good ultimately.
Sure.
But I think sometimes I feel like certain teams deserve sports punishment.
Correct.
And that's kind of I feel you. Like there's been some certain seasons where like I wanted Tubby Smith fired because he was just a zombie who was headed toward retirement. And so did I kind of want the Gophers to lose so that they could take a step back to hire someone, take 2 steps forward? Have I been there at times? Yes. I don't need everyone to get fired here. Like I'm not even saying that, but I don't know that this team deserves the reward of playing in the playoffs.
That's what I'm saying. Yes.
So I hear what you're saying.
They're like the bad kid. I do not want the bad kid to be rewarded after doing drugs, skipping out of school, and going to the mall. You know what? You don't deserve dinner.
Yeah. No, I feel you. All right. So I don't know who won the old. Probably Judd lauding the bullpen usage. Totally hypocritical.
Very hypocritical of Judd.
I was hoping it would work.
It was actually probably me for just not Googling Tyler Mahle.
I'll do it.
New rule: every time the Twins
I'll take
acquire
the L.
anyone, even a minor league transaction, we have to Google the player name and injury just to see.
So we have to research that the Twins, when they make a high-profile pitching trade, have not picked up another hurt guy.
Yes,
think about that for a second.
That's correct.
Think about all the concerns that you shouldn't have to have.
Oh man. Well, sounds like the Twins could use some risk management insurance. Let me introduce the Twins to my friends at Federated. They've been around for over 100 years, looking out for risks that are on the horizon. They might be able to nudge you and say, hey, that move you're about to make, there's some risk involved in that. You might want to be careful because Federated's always looking out for the health and the success of your business. They've been standing by companies, like I said, for over 100 years based in Owatonna. And you can find out more at federatedinsurance.com, where it's our business to protect yours. All right, that's a wrap on a very therapeutic episode of Mackey and Judd. Feedback Friday tomorrow, and don't forget Vikings Vent Line on the Purple Daily YouTube channel on Sunday after Vikings Packers.